here we are at the much awaited Borderlands release. This movie has been in development hell for God knows how long, and it's finally been released. And right after it's released, the critics unleash all hell on this movie, review bombing this thing into absolute oblivion the day that it comes out. So the question is it actually good? Are the critics completely wrong? Or is a broken clock right, once or twice a day? Maybe the critics are on to something with this. Time will tell, but we'll let you know because we have seen it.
Warning. The following show features reviews from wildly unprofessional critics operating without the supervision of professionals. The thoughts and opinions held by these individuals are not to be taken seriously and do not come from a place of intellectual integrity. This show doesn't reflect the opinions of Criticless or its users. Viewer discretion is advised.
What's up? What's up? What is up, everybody? Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Criticless Cast Unhinged. We are here and ready to rock, ready to talk about the new Borderlands film directed by Eli Roths. Now, this is starring, I'm going to go ahead and just look down at my computer on this one. It's starring Cate Blanchett, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, Jamie Lee Curtis, Edgar Ramirez. The list goes on. There's a lot of folks in this movie, which would make you think that this is going to be the big blockbuster. But like I said, this thing has been shoved to the end of the summer. It seems to be under the radar, and everything about this movie is just a little bit odd considering the star power behind it. So we have seen it, and we're here to let you know what we think. Today we are going to be able to do a spoiler-free review followed by a spoilery review, and I think today we can actually talk about a substantial portion of this movie without actually talking about spoilers and as far as giving our opinions. So make sure to hang around for that, and then if you want to come back to the spoilery version after you've seen it, or if you don't plan on seeing it, just hang around. And as always, make sure to visit criticless.com. Yes, you heard that right. Criticless.com. We are in Android and Apple stores as well. And as always, make sure to subscribe, like, comment, all that fun stuff because it helps us a ton. So on to business as usual. Joining me is Mr. Christopher Kaus.
Hello.
Mr. Matt Verlack.
Hey, everybody.
And I'm your host, Blaine Andrews, Lord and Emperor of Criticless.com. So, yes, today we are talking about Borderlands. This film is based off of a long-running video game series. I've said on previous news videos that, this video game series, I personally think peaked in like the second game, and it's been around for a while, but I think that was personally the best. I played a lot. Matt and I have played arguably probably like hundreds of hours of this game, even together.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
for sure.
A lot of this game. And I think Chris played it a bit too, did you not?
Oh, I have like 700 hours in the first game.
Right. You're just part of the PC master race, so you don't slum it with a console losers.
You peasants.
Yeah.
I don't see you.
Well, whatever. I've moved up in the world. I got a Steam Deck. I got a gaming PC. Matt even has a couple PC games at this point.
I do. Yeah.
We've moved up. I'm a weeb now. I mean, I'm watching like anime. I got a PC. Like, I'm pretty sure that I'm just a bona fide loser at this point. So
I think so.
Yeah. That's what that
I'll
means.
give you that title.
Yeah, I mean that's what my wife calls me. Yeah, thank you.
I have that ability.
You have that power. It's been a long running.
Oh, yeah.
You've been working on the title.
A generational PC person. Yeah, since '96. Yep.
Yeah. Long running.
Yeah.
Long running weeb nerd loser boy. So
I'll knight you.
Oh, thank you. I'm honored. So yes, this movie is I think I would consider this a loose interpretation of the games. Matt, would you not?
I think so. Now, I will say I haven't played the first one.
See, and that's why I played some of it, but not all of it.
And I think this is supposed to be more based on the first story, which I will ask Chris over there was 700 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Is this more based off the first one?
It is. Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah. Okay. So I will go ahead and read the overview of this film, which says, returning to her home planet, an infamous outlaw forms an unexpected alliance with a team of unlikely heroes. Together, they battle alien monsters and dangerous bandits to find a missing girl who holds the key to unimaginable power. So it gives you a rundown. I think that's a pretty good summation of what this film is about. But the thing is, like I mentioned, it was very interesting waking up this morning and the critics were allowed to release their reviews, I guess. And it went viral quite quickly because very rarely does this happen. and instantly after even like 20 or 30 critic reviews, it's still sitting at a 0. This is extraordinarily rare. Normally,
Yes.
we don't talk about this sort of thing before the show, but this was all over the news. I did a video about it today. It cannot be ignored. And Chris didn't know this, so this is new information.
I'm an idiot, so
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going on.
So, and he doesn't watch my daily videos, which means he hates me. So, you know. But yes, so this movie, I actually, and I mentioned it today in the video, I was quite excited about this movie. And when I saw that news, I was a little disappointed, but I was like, hey, you know what? Critics hate it. It's probably going to be the best movie ever made. So, because if you know anything about me, I'm not a huge fan of critics and critic culture and, you know, very much an anti-establishment type of individual. So, of course, we're saying screw you to the man. And we were just hoping and praying that these guys were going to be wrong. And so the question is, were these guys wrong? So let's go ahead and get into our spoiler-free review. We're going to go ahead and let you guys know our thoughts. We'll kind of run through how we would handle things as far as critic list goes, and we will go from there. So, guys, what did we think about this movie? I want Matt to go first. Matt is the one I'm most curious about, because if you know anything about Matt loves terrible films. And
I love good movies. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, he loves specific rims. So.
Now that is the best film ever made. That is not what we are talking about. So the question is, Matt, what did you think about this movie?
So I went in with the feeling that I would hate this movie. Really? I just had this sinking feeling all week. This started like way before critics said anything about this movie. And I was thinking, man, I just don't know why. I don't know if it's the marketing. I think it's the casting. Honestly, set me on edge before anything else.
And that did cause a bad buzz when they first announced the casting for this movie. Everybody just kind of felt wrong. If you characters in the game and the individuals that are in this, it's like you look at the main lineup. The only one from the main lineup as that really actually kind of fit was Jack Black being Claptrap, but at the same time, it's a voice actor. So it's kind of like, why not use the guy that did the voice in the game?
And I can tell you why.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who is it?
We can do it later.
I don't. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, okay. Well, I came in with a sinking feeling.
Yeah.
And as I was watching it, there were parts that I was like, oh man, this is straight from the game.
Right.
They do a lot of great nods to the video game. I feel they get a lot of the video game right.
Right.
But I think I could maybe give this a low decent.
Okay.
Is where I'm sitting. Like, I just have such a hard time being like, this was a rad movie.
Right.
There's several things they got wrong about a video game adaptation.
Yes.
There's several things that they did in Fallout 2 that I noted, and I was like, this is my problem with video game adaptations, and some of the acting. We'll get into it more, I'm sure, as we're going. Plus, I love 2 and 3, and the prequel is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of notes from the video games I feel like they did right, but also kind of did wrong.
So you're lukewarm on this at best.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and if you don't know, we have our critic list scale. I've actually got it pulled up on the screen right here, but our critic list scale ranges from heinous to most excellent. And Matt put it in the decent range on the low end. So that would be in the 40 some odd %, but he didn't stick it in the bogus range.
No, I'm thinking low decent.
Okay.
Is where I'll probably be.
All right. So Chris, you want to go or you want me to go? You're researching hard over here on his phone.
I'm just trying to remember the rating scale. Hold on. You can go ahead.
I'll go ahead. So with my thoughts on this movie, it was kind of a roller coaster because it first started now, and there is a caveat we need to add, which is that all three of us were late to this movie. Because we are normally seeing our movies in Dolby, we decided to see this one in IMAX. We prefer the highest quality possible. IMAX is not that. So, we're a little pretentious with our movie viewing. So we watched it in IMAX, and our IMAX theater is just crappier than the Dolby one. But anyways, they decided to just like full blown skip the trailers. And so we were at least 5 minutes late, bare minimum. So we came in while the movie was already going. But anyways, where I would stick this, honestly, my opinion as the movie went on was going down and down.
Yeah.
It was this progressive thing that was happening as I was seeing it. And this is going to be somewhere in the bogus territory for me.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure where on the bogus range, but it's at least dead center in the bogus range, probably. And where I sit with it is, I think that, like Matt said, there are a lot of things that it did right in regard to making this look like the video game. This does look like the video game, but also on multiple occasions, it feels like this is a fan film. Like it feels, there are parts, especially towards the end for me, that just felt kind of cheap and just weird. And this movie feels like it was chopped up. I've heard that it was. It felt like that to me. I have a lot of issues. I think a lot of them come down to writing and acting. There's some terrible, terrible writing and some really horrendous acting, even from some big name folks in this movie. And we can dig into that a little bit more, but I just wanted to get surface level thoughts here. So this is bogus for me. I'm not happy with it as far as it is a disappointment, because I really wanted this to be a success. And I was very excited about it. So, Chris, where are you?
I'm in this.
Oh, you're in that chair?
No. So I literally, I forgot we were watching tonight, obviously, as always. But,
for sure.
Looked it up and realized what we were watching. And I was super excited about it. I love Borderlands.
Mm-hmm.
Hadn't seen any trailers, spoilers for it. I think I've seen like 1 or 2 frames from the trailer. So I knew a little bit about it and had a vague idea as who was playing the roles. But I will agree with Blaine that this is a bogus for me. This is in the bogus range.
And it really sucks to prove the critics right. Like it hurts me deeply.
Okay, but is it a 0%?
No, it's not a 0%. And that is one thing I wanted to.
Oh, that's what I wanted to caveat.
And that is very much due to the very binary scale of Rotten Tomatoes, the fact that things are either good or bad, it's a splat or a solid. It's like there is that granular area in the middle. Like there will be people that like this movie most likely. Like there were certain points when I was watching it where I was like, this kind of feels like the Sonic movies in little bits, with how some of it was done, but just like a way cheaper, worse version of that. And handled with less tact, at least for me personally. But Chris, if there was anything else you kind of wanted to say for your surface level opinion here, I mean, was what stood out to you as far as just lowering this on your scale?
I mean, well, to be brief, I guess, is I disliked every character in the movie. They did not hit the mark on any. I know all of these characters very well. I have played literal days and days of these games and understand their personalities, or not necessarily.
And they're very fleshed out, fairly simple characters. It should not be hard to hit them.
Right.
With the right script.
Yes. Correct. So
and the right casting.
Yeah. And that is one of my biggest pet peeves. I mean, both of those things, and they work in conjunction together, but it was not entertaining to me at all. I did not enjoy it. There was 0 points in this movie that I laughed.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah, I don't think I laughed.
Thought that I would have chuckled at something. Point.
Yeah,
and the games are notoriously very funny.
And see, I think I chuckled at background comments,
right,
from other like characters and stuff. It was like claptraps, one-offs, and things like that. I did get chuckles from that stuff, but it wasn't from like the main characters.
And Chris, speaking of with claptrap, so what's the deal with that? Why do you think that they did not get the original actor?
Well, because they shafted him hard.
I think I heard about this.
They cut him out of some kind of, I don't know all of the deals. Don't quote me on this.
Right.
I mean, you can put whatever you want to, but there was some kind of contractual thing where they didn't pay him what he should have been paid, and he really got the short end of the deal.
Yeah.
And basically said that he wasn't going to do it anymore, which I assume is why he wasn't the voice of it in this.
Right.
I mean, they could have chosen to use, to still use some big name person as the voice. I think that's a terrible.
Well, Jack Black was a bad choice. I think.
Do you think so?
I do.
100%.
It did not
Jack Black was terrible as this role.
I disagree.
Really?
He was the only thing I actually liked.
Okay.
And I was like, he's pretty close, not like spot on.
I mean, some of it maybe was the writing.
That could be
atrocious writing in this movie. I mean, really, it's bad. And we'll get into more of that in the spoiler section. But I mean, really, it's like if we even walk our way through the cast list here, and all of us knowing these characters, and it's like, and maybe somebody from not knowing what they're getting into here, but it's like even Cate Blanchett, for example, she's not exactly a spring chicken. They played her as much younger than she is. I love Cate Blanchett; she's gorgeous, she's great, like, but she's not this character.
No,
and she's not nearly as young as they were trying to play her as. And this character in the games is like in her 20s or something.
She should be.
Yeah, it should be. But and Jamie Lee Curtis is still way too old to play the character that she was playing. It didn't work at all.
Yeah. And it didn't fit the personality that the game portrays for it.
Or even how the character was written, really, honestly.
Yeah.
Like there's so many problems with this film, honestly, and I hate it. I hate that, and because it's been a while, honestly, since we it's been like since Tarot, since we've not really liked something.
Yeah,
and this one is just, I mean, like Kevin Hart, terrible choice.
Yep.
It felt like he phoned this shit in, and I don't know if it was due to the script.
I think he was trying not to be funny,
right?
Because Kevin Hart's a funny character.
Right.
Roland is not a comedian.
No,
he's not the funny character.
And I honestly appreciate that he tried to portray that, like he was trying to step outside of his bounds and fill a role that he wasn't comfortable with, or that he may not be comfortable with, like, because that isn't a funny role. It's not a comedic. There's so many comedic things about this franchise that they could have taken the opportunity on, but like they focused on so many things that wasn't the case. Maybe not so many things, but they focused on some things that they didn't need to try to make funny, that they did try to make funny. And I don't know. I mean,
much just doesn't work.
It just doesn't fit, because the video games were so good. The way that they were produced, the voice acting behind it. And also, we haven't mentioned this yet, but this, for me, this was a PG movie.
Yeah, dude.
This was a PG movie.
Yeah.
Oh, we can get into that for sure.
Hard R.
Yeah.
Hard
R.
Literally have a quest to shoot somebody's head off, to literally explode someone's head off in the game. That is one of the quests.
Well, and even compared to with that, it's like Tiny Tina as a character is the most vulgar, raunchy, over the top character in the series.
Yeah.
And in this movie, she is just like nuked. On top of the fact that I hate crapping on kid actors, but like this girl's not great. Now, like I said, it might have been the direction, might have been the writing. Like in this film, what she did was not great. And she was not Tiny Tina at all. And the one little bit when they first introduced her and tried to make her seem like Tiny Tina, it was just bad.
Yeah. Like all of the character development, like in relation to the video game, does not mesh at all. I'm trying to think, and I will continue to try to think about which was the best mesh. But yes, I agree. Tiny Tina was the most egregious of that, to where it didn't mesh. And again, I don't want to like shit on this chick. I'm sure I haven't seen her in anything else. I also don't watch anything.
It's Ariana Greenblatt is her name. She was in Barbie, and
she was in Barbie. Okay, that's a big name. So
I think she was.
She's done well for herself.
Maybe the daughter in Barbie,
or maybe the mean girl.
I don't know. I'm trying to research. No, she was. Well, she was Sasha. I think that was the daughter of the mom.
Okay,
but anyways, not a fan of Barbie, so don't care. But
I loved it.
Oh, you.
I really enjoyed Barbie.
Judge.
You can write that down.
Oh, God.
Did you ever review it? You should go and review it.
Did I?
Hand me your penis now, sir. Detached.
Make it smaller. There you go.
Dude, just so much about this. We haven't even brought up Krieg. Krieg is like a non-entity character in this. Just outside of his face being covered and stuff, he has like 5 whole words in the whole movie, and every time he speaks, it's the dumbest shit ever. Like it just didn't work. I mean, yeah, he's like ripped and jacked, and just freaking swinging his little hammer thing. But I think honestly, the best portions of this entire film was everything that Chris was not even in the movie for, because he was later than both of us. The intro to this movie, and when they get her on the bus with Marcus and all that was actually neat, and they were showing the world, and I'm like, man, this really looks like Borderlands. Like, this feels like Borderlands. It sounds like Borderlands. The music is right. Like, this might actually be good. And then it was not much later, and I wasn't still at that point crazy about Cate Blanchett being Lilith, but I was like, I'm accepting it. It's who's casting this role. We'll see. But as it went on, I'm just like, nope. And it just kept getting progressively worse.
Yep.
I think we should get into
why don't we go ahead and go over
I think we all gave our feelings on it.
And I don't even want to run through the themes, really. I'll just say, as far as Criticalist themes go, we normally do that, but really it's like we said, this is PG-13. There is a bit more language. There is a tops. There's like some shits and dams, and
bitch is the only word that I remember hear them.
There's a couple others. There are a couple others. Maybe not even a bit more, but a bit. But like, either way, PG-13 level.
Just
violence. People are getting shot and killed and stuff, but they just fall over. It's just
literally
people falling
zero
over.
blood.
You get shot with a gun, they fall over. Like, this movie,
or you don't take any damage at all.
Right, or they take no damage. Yeah.
There's a shield.
This needed to be rated R. It wasn't. It neutered this movie and just kind of cut it off at the knees instantly. And it's really funny that Borderlands is coming out at a time when we have the highest, like, most well done, made the most money of any rated R movie in all of history, with Wolverine and Deadpool, or Deadpool and Wolverine. And now we have this movie coming out, which should have been rated R. And you can tell, you feel it in every bit of the film that it should have been rated R, and it's not. And it's just this stark comparison of, these two different franchises, both of which should have been R, one of which did the right thing, one of which did not. And you can tell the success there. Now, granted, it being rated R still could not have fixed the script. It still could have not fixed, like, adding more language, adding more blood could have not fixed the writing.
I don't understand how Eli Roth has a job still.
Yeah.
Because he wrote the screenplay.
Yeah.
He directed it. He produced.
He did
everything.
He did everything. And he always makes unlikable characters. His last movie was Thanksgiving. And
which people did like that movie, though.
They were very mixed on that.
Right. We're still sitting at a rad, like a 71% on Criticals by like 40 people.
Well,
so did you see it?
I've not seen it yet.
Yeah. I mean, people still like that movie more than most of his.
Yeah, but it's at least a horror movie.
And he's known for
up and coming. Right.
Like, he's known for Hostel and Cabin Fever and a lot of, very rated R movies. So, but this is definitely, like Matt said, I mean, he's notorious for writing terrible characters.
Just unlikable.
Unlikable characters. And he did that here. These aren't even characters. I don't even know what these are in this movie. Like, I mean, really, like, the way that these characters are written, this movie, the first thing that came to mind when I was trying to think of a description for this story and what this movie is just paint by numbers. Like, you have seen this before. Like, even though you haven't, like, this movie has a skin wrapped around it, but you have seen this movie 100,000 times over, and it's been done better.
Honestly, it's my problem with a lot of video games nowadays.
Right.
Is that's what they all feel like. It's paint by numbers. It's go here, collect this. And that's how it's felt. And honestly, it's how Uncharted felt. It was.
I actually like that movie.
Like the movie?
Yes, the movie.
I actually liked it.
I liked it too, for the most part.
It was.
I think that's because Marky Mark and
Tom Holland.
Like, but it felt the same. It was go here, get this. Go here, get this.
Right.
And it's video games for you. It's fetch quests.
Right.
And that's what this movie was. It was fetch quests.
Slash what is it? An escort mission? This whole movie is an escort mission.
Yeah, it's an escort mission where the person that you're escorting walks 1/10 slower than you. So you can't sprint. So you have to pause everything, which is the bane of every video game escort mission person has ever experienced.
Run my speed.
Yep. Yeah. And the thing is too, is that when you think about this now, if you haven't played the video game, I understand, like, this won't make a ton of sense. It'll make sense, but you can't necessarily relate. But it's like, with these characters, each of them is very specific and, like, in their lane, where it's like, you have the bruiser, you have the, with Kevin Hart's character, where he's, a little bit tanky, but he's the assault guy, whatever. Like, they all use kind of typically lean towards certain types of weaponry and have certain special abilities. Now, granted, Lilith, stuff does happen with her, but she's the only one. And I don't want to get in. That's into spoilers.
Well, I thought we were in spoilers.
No. I didn't want to fully get into that yet. So we can't go ahead and pivot on spoilers. All I was getting at was just that these characters are very one note. They don't feel separate. They don't have any there's so much, like, the book was written for them, and yet they still couldn't follow it. The only thing that they got right was just making this look like Borderlands. and some of that is still done fairly cheaply. Which I'm guessing Chris has, which I'm sure that you have plenty of CG. You got CG complaints.
I got CG qualms. I need to write a blues album about CG qualms.
Yeah, there's a scene where Kevin Hart as Roland comes out of the ceiling or somewhere from the air by a chain with a gun, and CG terrible, like the worst thing I've ever seen. And it's just like, hey, I'm here to save the day, and it was just like. It was one of the worst moments in film that I've seen in I don't know how long. And then it just that whole terribleness like continued from that.
When did Transporter 2 come out?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Think Transporter 2. That's where we're at. Yeah, that's the level of
or any Fast and Furious past the third one.
Past like the 6th.
No, past like the 7th.
All right, we're splitting hairs.
So, anyways, we're going down the spoilers now, guys. So bail out if you don't want this movie ruined, but like also you can still hang around. You're not really missing a lot. So,
spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler. So, we're going to get into spoilers. So, Chris, what's some spoilers that you want to talk, buddy? What's some spoilers you got?
I mean, okay. So every single character choice that they made in this movie for. What celebrity they're going to choose for it is bad. Every single one was bad. Lilith, bad.
That was the worst.
Right.
So I think that was the most egregious and worst one.
I'll fight you on it.
I just think Lilith should have been a 20-something-year-old, somebody that seemed like a fire. Because I mean, I haven't played the first game, but in the second game, third game, she's a rebellion leader. She's got the fire in her gut and the wings. But like. They didn't capture that at all.
No.
She was a reluctant anti-hero. I think is what they were going for.
Kind of.
Being that she was a bounty hunter, but like it just didn't hit.
Yeah.
Just everything about her delivery, like it just didn't work. Like you felt her age on this character.
She looks her age.
Right.
She's like 50 or 60 something. Like not. And they did mention once her age.
Right. So she was born in 69. So somebody can do the math there.
Yeah, they can math that. It's not
Summer of Love.
Yeah.
69.
So, and I mean, like I said, she's gorgeous. She's great. Like she looks
just not in this role.
This is not the role for her. Chris is mathing hard over here. So if his head doesn't explode as we chug along here, I mean, it just so much of that didn't work. But I mean, honestly, too, we haven't even gotten to the end of this movie, which I despise with every ounce of my being. But the ending of this movie actually is paired with something that Chris was talking about before we started the show, which he's going to be deep denial of and not admit to saying before the show started. But this movie is girl bossy to the freaking max. Like you can't. I've
never heard this term in my life.
This is like girl boss wet dream here. I mean, really, like between how the men in this movie are relatively useless. If you see anybody shooting guns, it's probably going to be a chick. You're going to watch Tiny Tina just randomly throw grenades at people and blow them up and help people with, teddy bears. And there's no real logic to any of it and how it works.
Yeah. She just has an endless supply of...
She just pulls them out of her ass.
I think they were trying to use video game logic.
Right.
I guess. But Tiny Tina A has never been a playable character.
No.
As far as I know. I don't think
that's why this was an escort mission.
I don't think even in Tiny Tina's Wonderland,
she
wasn't a playable character. She's never been a playable.
Correct.
And Tannis was never playable. The only playable characters were Roland, and Krieg was a DLC character for 2, and then what's her face, the main chick.
Right. And this is all not to mention their characters like the commander of the bad guys,
Crimson.
Crimson
I
Lance.
think
That character, that lady was terrible. I'm sorry, her acting was horrendous. She had the butch cut with the thing and the.
I digged her.
I don't even. Really?
Yeah.
God, I thought she was horrendous.
In comparison, great.
I mean,
fantastic.
But
she just gave me the normal, like, I'm a leader of a militia, turn over your stuff.
Right. And like Moxie,
talk about a boring character.
Had the look like but the character it was like she was trying too hard. I mean, she did have some big hooters, so we got to check out the hooters at least.
It's like a push-up bra does.
It does wonders, buddy. Wonders. Yeah. I'll take it.
There's no shame on anybody.
No, push them up, babe.
This character had depth.
Yes.
And they did not portray that in the movie.
but Moxie is such a side character,
right?
that I didn't think she needed.
I mean,
depth.
She's a second layer character, I think. I mean,
hold on. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Just time out. So you said she's such a side character that she needed depth. Are you saying that they provided that?
No. I'm saying she doesn't need depth. Besides what they gave her of, I'm helping you guys because you're my friend, and I'm going to cover your back.
I'll disagree. I think that she needed more depth than they gave her. I'll agree with you to the point that she doesn't need a backstory or something more than.
Because even in the video game, she barely has.
I'll say this: the number one all-star character of the entire Borderlands film is Marcus. This guy was played by Benjamin Byron Davis. Do not know who this dude is, but I will say that he put on the most comic, accurate, believable, best version of any character in this entire film.
He 100% nailed Marcus.
Yeah, nailed it.
100%.
Sounded exactly like the game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He
looked like it.
He might be.
He might be. I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
He is.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I mean, he's a no. I don't think he is actually. I think he's a regular actor. He's done other things, so he knocked it out of the park. Best person in the whole film, and clearly, it's like you watch him and you're like, this dude's seen the games, and like it's not like he's just trying hard. He is doing it. Yeah. He is doing the thing. Yeah.
He might be a little too slim.
Right.
Can't fault the motherfucker for like being in shape.
Right.
But the most egregious is Claptrap. For me.
Yes, same.
Now, 100% hated Jack Black in this role.
So is it Jack Black that you hated or the writing of the character?
All of the above.
Both.
Yeah, all of it.
It's both. He did not... it's both.
Every time he spoke, I was just like, this is supposed to be funny, and this is not funny.
There was no good quips.
No.
There was... And it wasn't even necessarily about... It's a weird thing about Claptrap. Like, you have to play the games to understand the personality. That sounds real pretentious. You can fuck me up in the comments if you want to. It's fine. But, like, he literally just projected his personality onto that character. Mm-hmm. Which it is not Jack Black.
Right.
It is not at all. Like, I don't know. It was just, that was the most egregious to me of
just the failure of translating.
Right. Yeah. From the video game into the movie.
Yeah, no, I agree. And there was just so much of that. And it really did just kind of neuter the life of this series for me. And the weird thing is, though, is like I said, is for me, a lot of the look and feel of at some of the parts. Now, I think the first half accurately captures the Borderlands universe fairly well. Look, feel. I'm like, this is how I would imagine it to look. Yeah. Granted, it's a little kind of cartoony feeling, even though it's live action, but like, this is how it should look and feel. And that worked. But and it kind of did. I'm like, man, I kind of want to play these games again. I kind of miss these games. Yeah. But then it was just like, as the story chugged along, and as it was just this hyper Lilith focused thing, like Kevin Hart took the absolute backest of back seats that you could take in this film. Like, he was just a little side bitch in this movie. Like, I feel like Krieg, even though he didn't even speak, got more time than freaking Kevin Hart did in this movie. Mm-hmm. Like, and Krieg was terrible. Like, I mean, that's just not a character. Like, Jack Black got too much time for being just the most bland version of Claptrap that I can think of. Like, I did not care about whatever weird thing Jamie Lee Curtis was trying to do here. Like, we know she can act, but whatever was happening here was not that.
Oh, she is a classic, historic, award-winning actress. Right. Like, she is great. Like, we all know that. This is not a detriment to who she is or the actress that she is.
This is about direction.
The character that she played in this was atrocious. It was not Tannis in any way. Tannis was a like young, like ditzy, kind of like absent-minded person. Not this one where it was like a
weird, nerdy
on the spectrum.
Yeah.
But trying to be ditzy because she was like flirting with Krieg, just being like, oh, you're a hot one, things like that. So she was trying to be.
Yeah. It's like it's like the conundrum of the characters, or I don't know the right words to put it in, but the antithesis of the characters were swapped.
Right.
So like in the video game, she was like ditzy and super, like
a little goofy or whatever.
But in this, she was like autistic,
and kind of serious and
flirty.
uncomfortable, and
It was just a weird mix.
Well, so my question then, and this is kind of for Chris, I guess, with game 1, which is what this is supposed to be kind of emulating.
Hit me.
Was there the whole like Lilith and Tannis having drama and family drama and all that?
Not family drama, no.
I think that was added layer for this film.
Yes.
To try and give us more depth.
It felt wrong.
Yeah.
From like playing at least the second and third game.
It was a level of seriousness that this film didn't need.
Yeah.
There
all
was
of the family drama.
There was the whole mom level of it, but from my memory, I haven't played the first one in a while because we've obviously had the 1,
like 6
2,
games
3 pre-sequel.
DLCs.
There's been so many different ones. I haven't played the first one in a long time, so take that with a grain of salt. But from my memory is there was no familiar relation between Tannis and the Firehawk, which
speaking of the Firehawk, I just want to go ahead. We got to do this. We got to talk about the end of this movie. I do not know if y'all caught this, if it bothered you as bad as it did me, but I feel like the most egregious, offensive part of this entire fucking film is the last 5 to 10 minutes of this whole movie. I was
hit me.
I fucking hated it. They get to the vault.
Yep.
They take Atlas there.
Yeah.
They let the tentacle monster kill him. And then they sweep in with this stupid fucking woke plot where they decide to say, you know what? The reason that you want to be here in the vault is because you're a greedy bastard and I have enough. I don't even need the vault. And they leave. Do you know what the point of these games is? Do you know what the fucking point of this game is? It's to open the vault. It's to get the things out of the vault. It's to get the guns. It's to get the money. It's to get all of the things. But no, they don't even open the vault. We don't even know what's in the fucking vault.
Yep.
Well,
did that? Yes, you're going to disagree. You would. Someone who likes a Barbie would disagree.
That's fair. But also I have played these games for many more hours, but that is literally the plot of it is to
not open the vault.
No, it's to get to the vault before these corporations.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
but they didn't try to get the benefits of the vault because literally she used the verbiage.
So that's for one of the characters, which is and isn't playable, but she becomes
Lilith?
Yes, Lilith is the Firehawk.
Right.
She becomes, so she's the key, right? So there's a lot of,
but like they would still roll, like they sideline rolling, like none of them even came into the vault.
Correct.
Like in the games, what you do is you go into the vault, you open the vault,
and you fight a monster inside.
Exactly. You lost the monster fight. We didn't even get to see them fight the tentacle monster. We didn't get that. We didn't get the giant explosion of loot. Think about how cool that could have been on film.
And see, that's what I expected. I expected them to sacrifice him.
Bullshit.
And then a giant monster fight.
Yes. That's where I thought the movie was headed.
Yeah.
That's what should have happened.
Like a Monster Hunter level monster fight.
What full-blown fucking retard wrote this script? Eli Roth. That decided to make it to where it's that I'm too good for treasure. I'm not a treasure hunter. I'm going to say that the whole movie, and then I'm not even going to have my friends come into the vault because no one needs treasure because we have friendship. Fuck you and your friendship. Go to the vault, get the guns, get the money, and then still be friends when you leave. That's my rant. I'm fucking over it. I got to the end of this movie is what prickled me the most.
Yeah.
This is the most bullshit anti this series that you could possibly be. With how irreverent and ridiculous and over the top. Granted, they did choose to make Lilith the full-blown lead character in this film.
Yeah.
It is kind of on brand for this film, but like also
for the first series of the games.
Sure. Yeah. But like, I don't think that's not how the first game played out either. It's like, you didn't not open the vault. There's no freaking way.
Sure.
Like there's no way.
What I remember actually from the first game is that you open the vault, you go in and there's nothing there.
Great.
That's what I remember. I remember somebody bitching to me about the first game, and that's why I've never played it. That was the reasoning. And then I played 2, and I was like, 2's great. You fight a monster, you get a bunch of treasure. It's great. You have Handsome Jack. It's fantastic.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing is like, when, I don't know, let's say that there was that could have been played for humor. But like, yes, in the other games, you open the vault and all the crazy thing happen. Maybe it doesn't in the first game since I haven't finished the first game. I did play it. I just didn't finish it.
Yeah.
So I don't remember. But either way, let's say that was the case. That can be played for humor. They didn't fight the big boss in the vault. The vault was pointless. The only point of the boss was to let it eat Atlas. Okay, freaking fantastic. While Lilith just like zips around and whispers in his ears, and they, and then he gets beat up by like a freaking 13-year-old girl or whatever. Like, great.
True.
This movie just like, they're like, you know what you need? You need more girl bossing. And then after the girl bossing, we need to tell you that you shouldn't want treasure. That's what this movie was. That's the end moral of this story.
Yeah.
And it was lame as shit.
I mean, in comparison to the games, like, yeah, it doesn't match at all. But the biggest, well, one of the huge things for me, obviously, is the character development or the actors that they chose to play these. Like, we've already gone over all the main characters, but we come to Atlas as one of the characters. Like, talk about was there anything that I missed prior to coming in that Atlas was, because I came late?
So what you missed that he was a little bit involved is that there's a bunch of gangsters and they're like, hey, we're going to hire you, Lilith, to work for Atlas to go do something. She kills all the gangsters, and then Atlas stands up, and it's not actually Atlas. It's a guy wearing a mask that's projecting Atlas.
Okay.
And she kills that dude, and then somebody else takes the mask, and then Atlas is talking to her about the job.
Okay.
But that's it.
All right. So Atlas is nothing in the games. Like, they make guns, and that's one of the brands that you can get, and that's the joy of the game is finding new guns from different companies. But the main characters in the vast majority of these games is Handsome Jack.
Is he in the first one?
I couldn't remember if he was in the first one.
I didn't think he was in the first one.
2 is so memorable. The first one, they were really kind of figuring out this series.
Yeah.
Now, also, side note, I did look it up. There is stuff in the first vault. It's just iridium. It's not like a bunch of guns and stuff.
Okay.
So they do find money. So like, that's the thing. They could have found money. They didn't. Either way.
Yeah.
It would have, I don't know. There's so many different ways that they could play this. The way that they did it was the lamest stuff I've ever seen. Like, I do not care. Like, I don't know what happened here. I don't know why this was allowed to be what happens at the end. And then like the movie just ends on such a kind of like weird, sappy note. It's just, everything felt so off brand and neutered, like a neutered version of what this franchise is supposed to be from start to finish. And I think it all started with the casting and the script and deciding to make this PG-13.
Yeah, 100%. This is one of the most hard R video games out there. Well, maybe not the most hard R.
But
Matt might.
I think it's more like there's other games that are probably harder, but
sure. But I mean, like they don't hold back in these games as far as, especially on violence, language. Like, they don't really focus on that too much in the games, but like violence wise, like it is.
Oh yeah.
You're blowing people to pieces. Like, it is gory as fuck. So to have this as in my mind, this is a PG movie. Like, literally, they said bitch once. I never heard fuck once in this movie.
Right.
Which you can say once in a PG movie.
I think it's more violence. That's probably the rationale for PG-13.
There's a lot of aggression. There's a lot of action,
shooting
fighting.
people.
There is.
I mean,
there was a couple runs in the middle of the film that were like, I was actually surprised at how long the action scenes were going on. Yeah. But then I was just like, but these action scenes suck. Like,
they do. And so that's actually one of my beefs with this movie was they don't have shields first.
Right.
Only Alice has shields. I guess shields weren't a thing in the first game. They are heavily in the second and third and other movies.
You definitely have shields.
They're all shields. Well, apparently they don't have shields in this movie, except for Alice.
Right.
Which is a flag for me. But then the main people never get hurt, apparently.
Right.
Even though they're fighting a horde of armed people.
Right.
And this is my beef with video games, movies. Nobody ever gets hurt.
Right.
Or they get hurt once, and it's a big deal. And then
none of our heroes got hurt in this movie at all.
Krieg fighting Lilith in the beginning.
Right.
Somehow he blocked a couple bullets. Okay. He blocks, I guess, every single one of her bullets.
Right.
Right.
Every single shot. He never takes damage. And they could have easily let him get shot once or twice and then him healed.
Right.
Yeah.
Something. There's so many other things they could have done with the damage in this that they just did not take advantage of. And I don't know if it's just because they couldn't show blood or couldn't show the wounds. Like I'm guessing.
Did y'all see blood?
No. The
Exactly.
only thing that kind of did that was when they blew through the head of the monster thing, and you saw inside, and it was like kind of reddish.
Right, but it's not human blood, so
it's monster blood. They're allowed to do that. Yeah. Exactly. And I think that's why. Guys, I think after talking about this is a heinous. My score has gone lower. It is more. I said bogus first.
Oh,
but
I'm still in bogus.
I think I'm dropping to bogus.
Yeah,
with mine.
I feel like so much. As much as there are some cool things in this movie, like when they do the things where they wear the masks, like it's so on brand for the video game. It was very cool. I liked that a lot. It looked great. Like there were bits and pieces like that, like the look of the guns, the cars, there
was also the one time where they showed Lilith's gun and the infinity symbol on it.
Yeah,
I'm assuming that was a legendary gun that just never had endless ammo.
Right,
which is cool.
Right. There were things like that were cool, that were on brand for the game, but none of that was enough to save what this film is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's no amount of just callbacks.
Right. Fan service.
To this. Yeah, that will save
an atrocious script.
Right. The actors that they chose for the roles and also the writing that they chose for those actors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's terrible. It doesn't convey the character development that is in the video games.
Yeah.
I mean, you just think about like M. Night's Avatar.
Right.
Like that's a similar comparison for me of like the atrocity.
Sure. Right.
With that air quotes. It's not that bad, but I mean, it is that bad. But of like, it doesn't what's the word I'm looking for? It's not justify, but it doesn't
do any service to.
It doesn't acknowledge the source material
in a way that's respectful.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that this movie, by and large, is a mistake. And it's why it's set on the shelf for so long. It's why it probably went through as many like reshoots and edits and it was cut up and whatever. Now, the question is this a Zack Snyder scenario where this movie was substantially better before? I don't think so because of how bad the script was.
Nah.
I don't think so.
Maybe it's chopped to pieces. And if it was made better than it was originally supposed to be, then I would hate to see what this movie was.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Agreed.
Yeah. Because what we have now is still quite bad. And I really hate it for this franchise because I love this franchise. And as we've all spoken about, we love these games. This is a cool world. There were things that they did right, but none of it was enough to save what they did to this series.
Yep.
I think it's short.
Agreed.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, the critics were right. And we have to give them the credit this time. I don't think that this is a zero movie. I mean, if I were to make a prediction as to like the criticless audience and our users, there's a strong chance that this could still end up in bogus territory. I don't know that it would end up in heinous. It is possible, though. It wouldn't this isn't as bad as some things I've seen of late, but like it's also kind of on par with like really bad Hollywood. And this is making a lot of the mistakes that modern Hollywood has been making of late. And it's just more of that.
Yeah.
I'll say I am not a film critic. Everybody knows that. But so for me, this is more of a divergent from what it should be than a lot of the films that we've seen that I've gotten negative reviews. So like, to me, this should get like real shit reviews.
Yeah.
Comparatively to the other ones.
And I'm curious, one of the points that I made to someone that I talked to within Criticalist was, I was like, the biggest thing with this movie is due to the bad reviews and even, just our personal bad reviews, and the few people who will see this early, I think that so few people will watch this and it is going to be such a blip on the radar that there isn't going to be much of a general audience seeing it because they're going to get wind of how bad it is and not bother to go.
But and then I don't think a lot of people know what this is.
You don't think?
I mean, if you play video games, you do.
Right.
I think if you play video games, you do. But if you don't play video games, you're not going to know what this movie is.
Yeah.
Right.
And their marketing is hyper colored and very stylized. And
With
if you're
all
a
that,
general
you think
person,
it looks cool though. That
Yeah.
could market it in a good way.
yeah, but I think a general person will look at that and go, this seems like it's going to be super stylized and I don't want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Just a generic person, not me as a gamer, I'll be like, yes. So I think they're trying to bring in the gamer crowd that might not know about it,
Right.
but
yeah.
I would compare this to Furiosa.
Furiosa is so much better than this.
Exactly. So it covers a lot of the same bases and itches that people have for their wants in movies.
Right.
But Furiosa does it way better.
Right.
Way better.
Right.
Not saying that it's even a great movie. I don't think that I
You didn't give it a very high score.
Super high score, but like this, it's just such a bad representation of a video game into real life.
Right.
Like
this is like the type of stuff that they would do in the 90s.
I mean, I was about to say, this is not the first time I've seen a video game.
They were notoriously bad. Video game adaptations were notoriously bad. They've been getting better.
Yeah.
And this is more of what we used to get. Now, we don't have any reviews right now on Criticlist. We'll probably be among the first. The score has gone up a hair on Rotten Tomatoes with the critic score. It's gone up to a 6%, which means that there's probably like 2 people that like it. One of which is a YouTuber who has some of the worst opinions on all of YouTube. And then it is sitting at a 51 audience score. So we will see how that translates within Criticlist.
Yeah.
I actually think quite often our audience can even be a little bit more critical than the Rotten Tomatoes audience score.
I think that might come down to we're all nerds.
Right. Right. Currently,
so if you're doing something video game based,
yes,
it is likely we've at least played something of it in the last 20 years.
Right. And I think right now, like it or not, there is the hot button situation to do with, you can call it whatever you want. I don't even like the term woke anymore. But this movie is, I'm over it. But like this movie is very much tiptoeing around that territory as far as the subject matter, like we're talking about with the girl boss and stuff, with how they handled the ending. Like it was clearly catering to that stuff, and people are over it. And I'm not talking like everybody's kind of over it. Even the people that used to be kind of on board with some of that stuff are realizing how cheesy and lame it is.
Yeah, and you can be on board with it and want to promote it without it being like infecting. Infecting is a bad word for everything, but it without it infiltrating everything.
Right.
Like, you don't have to have it everywhere all the time. It
diminishes the meaning.
Over inundated with woke culture.
Right.
I hate the word woke.
I know, I hate it, but it's like, what word are we using now? It's like, because it's still like the concept and the initial idea behind it is still a thing. So it's hard. It is hard to talk about still, but I do think that is also going to play a role in people's opinions of this movie when they do see it. Yeah. So anyways, guys, I don't know. There's not a whole lot else to talk about. This isn't a complex movie. It's not very deep. We've bashed it plenty, and you're going to hear plenty more bashing, I'm sure, from other individuals. This is not going to be a loved movie. This is not going to be remembered a week from now. Like, this movie is not great.
You're telling me.
So none of us will see it again. I kind of do want to go play the games now, weirdly enough.
Yeah, I honestly kind of want to play one of the games I haven't played a lot.
Right.
Like
I'm going to play episode 1.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah. These games still hold up well because of how they made them and how they look, with the cell shaded nature of them, it holds up. But yeah, I would like to go back. I bet that they are on sale on Steam right now. So yeah,
good call.
But yeah. So anyways, guys, that's been it for Borderlands. This movie sucks a butt. Don't watch it. I'm sorry to everyone who liked it and we've sit here and poo-pooed it. But if you liked it, like, good. I'm glad somebody liked this because it's not great. This is not great, but good on you for liking it. So I think that's going to be it for today, guys. And we will be back with the news for Criticalist Cast News on Monday. And we will see you then. But until next week, Matt, what are we reviewing next week?
Alien Romulus.
There we go. Okay. So Alien Romulus will be next week. We'll be reviewing that. I am very excited about that and have not even seen a trailer and know next to nothing about it. I'm very excited. So I'm going in full Chris on this movie.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
So until next time, guys, this has been real. We will see you then. Later.
Peace.
Later, everybody.